Good afternoon, class. Today we are going to be doing our second lesson for Bridges. And as you can see, I have here my math journal. We are going to be using math journals, and we gave you a composition notebook at Meet the Teacher Night. If you would like to use that for your math journal, you are welcome to. Or you can use any kind of notebook that you would like to use for your math journal. But you will hear us talking about Get Out Your Math Journal quite a bit this year. So make sure that you have one and that you know where it's at and that you keep it nice and organized as we're going through it. So this year you're going to fill your journals with treasures, ideas, strategies, information, new words, and more. Your journal will be a tool that will help you learn. So please take care of your journal and keep it neat and organized. Every time you write in your journal, you need to write the date and a heading, and I will show you how to do that each time. This way you can go back and look and find your work easily. So if you need to use it as a reference, you can, and you can find it easily. So we are going to be doing a problem string today. And I think you did some problem strings in third grade. So remember, a problem string is a series of problems that you will solve, and we go through it each time, and then we move on to the next one. And each time, the problem gets a little bit harder, and usually the problems build on each other. So you can use the first problem to help you solve the second problem, and the second problem to help you solve the third problem. So it gets you used to looking at numbers in different ways and how to break them apart and make easier to solve problems. So I'm going to open up our math journal today. And if you have your math journal, that's great. If not, what I want you to do is I want you to pause this video and I want you to go and get your math journal so that you can do this along with me. Because tomorrow in our group, we are going to be going over these things, and I want to make sure that you have it handy and that you're able to find it and you're able to share with us tomorrow. So the first thing you're going to do in your math journal always is put the date at the top of your math journal. You're going to put today's date is, actually this is the date that I'm doing the video, but the date that we will be doing it is different. So you are going to be writing, I'm not sure what the date will be. So whatever the date is for today, you will write it at the top. I'm going to write the date that I have right now. So the date today is September 3rd, 2020. I should have looked to see what the date will be when we're using this. I'm sorry. Then you're always going to put a title so that when you go back to look for things, you can find them easily. So you are going to title this Problem String and you're going to write number lines, because we're going to be talking about how to use number lines as a strategy when we're solving a problem. So if you need to pause this video so you can see how to spell those things, you can do that. You can pause this video at any time, you can rewind it. So whatever you need to do, you can watch it again, you can watch it over again. That's the nice thing about these pre-recorded lessons is you can watch it, and if you don't understand something, you can rewind it or you can watch it again. So when we're doing problem strings, I like to make a chart to keep myself organized. So I like to make a chart where I am going to just draw a line down that red line, right down the side of my paper. And you'll notice that when I am drawing sometimes, my lines aren't always perfect. And when I have to draw pictures, it's pretty terrible. So I'm not grading you on your straight lines or on your drawings. So I just want you to know that don't worry, because I don't always do things perfectly either. I don't expect you to either. And I will make a lot of mistakes. You will see that. So I'm going to draw across the top. So I'm going to make my chart. So over here, I'm going to write the word problems, because this is the column that we will be putting the problems in. Then over here, I'm going to put strategies. Just like that. And again, you can pause the video at any time so that you can see how this is done and you can see how to spell something. So the first problem we're going to start with is, just like the one we did yesterday, the doubling. So we're going to start with 4 times 2 equals, we're starting with that. And remember when we talked yesterday in our lesson about the 32 plus 32 was the same thing as 32 times 2? So it is doubling. So we know that 4 times 2 is the same thing as doubling that 4. So it's the same thing as 4 plus 4. You're just doubling it. So when we're using a number line strategy, what we would do is we would draw our blank number line, and I know you've done this in 3rd grade. So you draw your open number line, and then you're going to start at 0, and you're going to jump 4 so that you land on the first 4. So you're adding on 4. So that's one set of 4, but you need 2 sets of 4. So then we're going to add jump another set of 4. So there's 4, and there's 4, and then we land on 8. So we doubled it. We have 2 sets of 4. So this is the same thing as 4 plus 4 equals 8 is the same thing as 4 times 2 equals 8. This is the doubling strategy. And you touched base on that in 3rd grade as well. So now what we're going to do in a problem string, we are going to add on to that, and we're going to make it a little bit harder, but we're going to see how can we use the problem that we just did to help us solve the next problem. So I'm going to keep myself organized. I am going to draw a line underneath that before I write my next problem. The next problem is going to be 8 times 2 equals. So again, this is the doubling strategy again. So if you draw your number line, think, how can I use what I just did to help me solve this problem? How could I use 4 times 2 to help me solve 8 times 2? How could I use 4 times 2 to help me solve 8 times 2? So I'm going to show you on the number line what that's going to look like. So we're going to draw our open number line right here. Again, we're going to start at 0, and we're going to use this to help us solve this. So we know that 4 plus 4 is 8, right? And we need 2 groups of this. So I'm going to jump, just like I did before, I'm going to split it into 4s, and I'm going to jump to 4, just like I did up here. And then I'm going to jump another 4, and I land on 8. So there's my first set of 8. So I jumped 4, and I jumped 4. Now I need another set of 8. So I could jump another 4, just like I did here. I'm just going to do exactly what I did. And then I'm going to jump another 4. And so that would get me to, if I jump another 4, that would get me to 12. And then I jump another, and I get to 16. So I can take this, and I can just double it that way. And then I've got to 16. So we know that this is the same thing as jumping 8. That's the same thing as jumping 8. So this, what we just did is, because this is also 8, we just did 8 doubled, 8 plus 8 equals 16, or 8 times 2 equals 16. So the 2's are the same thing as doubling that number. But when we did the 4's, we used our 4's from here to help us, and that was using addition, repeated addition. So we did 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 16. So we use this to help us solve this. So now we're going to draw another line. And we are going to solve 12 times 2 equals. So this is going to be your assignment for tomorrow. I want you to show me how would I solve 12 times 2 using that open number line starting at 0. How would I solve 12 times 2? And how could I use this to help me solve this? And how could I use this to help me solve this? So I want you to think about the relationship here between these numbers, and how can I use these to help me solve these two to help me solve this one. So in your math journal that you have right now, I want you to solve this problem, and I want you to be ready tomorrow to share your thinking. We will discuss it, we will go over it together, and we will share our strategies and share our thinking. We are going to do a lot of talking, a lot of math talk in this class, and it is okay to make mistakes. It is okay to be wrong. That is how we learn. So don't ever be afraid to say, I don't know, or I don't get it. Just try your best, come to the group with your math notebook, and be ready to talk. So have fun with this, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.